Hi everybody, it is Thursday the 20th of April 2023 and today is the day when update 1.21 will be dropping to Xbox and PC experimental servers. Don't worry PlayStation, you will get a chance to play this in 4 weeks when it comes out to all of the public servers, but for now it's just for Xbox experimental and PC experimental, and it's a very exciting one because we are getting probably what could be the perfect survival weapon, the crossbow. And the reason why it's so good is because you can craft your own ammunition for it, you can craft your own bolts, and also we are getting the ability on console to spawn in any of the assets from the game. So you may well be aware at the moment, if you try and use DayZ Editor to spawn in things like trees and rocks, we don't have access to them, but it looks like we're going to have access to anything that you can see in the world. We will be able to spawn in and create different environments, which is very, very exciting indeed. So this video, we're just going to go through the patch notes. I'll put a link in the description below the video. And also remember, if you are on PC and you want to play the experimental version of DayZ, just go into your Steam library, go to the drop down and you'll see it there. If you're on Xbox and you own DayZ, just do a search for DayZ in the Microsoft Store and you'll find experimental DayZ there as well. So here we go. Game added crossbow and colour variants. I understand there'll be 4 different variants, boats and improvised bolt variants. So you're going to have bolts that you can find in the world, and then you can craft one. So if you get a stick, make it a short stick and sharpen it, that's one type of bolt. Then if you add feathers from a chicken, dead chicken, you then have a better type of bolt, which is good. The sword is coming in. I don't know if that's just going to be the long sword, whether they're actually going to turn it on in types that we've always had. The mace is a new thing, so this is something for bashing people on the head. We have chainmail leggings, chainmail coif, the Norse helm, the chest plate, and the medieval boots. I don't know what a coif is. Is it something you put over your head? But anyway, bit of fun. Hopefully these things are going to be very, very heavy and offer you very little insulation against the cold, and maybe they'll introduce a new chafing mechanic, you know, where you put the chainmail leggings on and oh yes, the chafing is not good, but a bit of fun. It means you can dress up as a knight and scare people, or even we'll be able to put some of this stuff on the zombies. Won't we? Be able to put a Norse helm on a zombie. That should be pretty cool. Wool gloves with fingerless and colour variants. Feathers, again, for using to make bolts for the crossbow. Game hints in the loading screen. That's always a good idea to help the new players. Added new game hints. Again, onboarding better. Thrown items and moving vehicles now move smoother on high refresh rate devices. So finally, well, I say finally, the idea with this, again, if you've got a high-end PC or you're on a next-gen console like a Series S, Series X or a PlayStation 5, things are going to work a little bit better. So that should be good. Status icon for mild leg injury. So what happens now is, or what will happen is, when you jump off a building and you hurt your leg but don't break it, you'll see like an icon appear of a leg, which looks like nails sticking out of it. And you've just got to make sure then that you think very carefully before you're jumping off anything else, because otherwise you might well break your leg. UI brightness can be adjusted in the settings, so the character now spawns with items pre-assigned to their quick bar. Now, I won't go through all the fixes. You can click on the link in the description below the video to check them out for yourself, but the top one's quite interesting. Proximity chat was not audible on Xbox when the user was in party chat, so that's fixed. Good. So we'll scroll past all of these and we'll go down to changed. Here we go. Login timer will be prolonged upon immediate account or device switch with escalating time on repeated attempts. So what this is an attempt to prevent the defense of bases and the storage of items with alternative accounts on the same Xbox or PlayStation. So at the moment on Xbox or PlayStation, you can have as many accounts as you want, and they all have access to DayZ. You don't have to buy extra copies of DayZ. So if you want to defend your base and there's only you can have your character, and you can have 10 other alternative accounts with characters that are all geared up with machine guns and ready to go, so that if you die, you can just quickly switch accounts, log in, and then defend your base. Or just for hoarding stuff that it will never be accessible to anybody else because your character is logged off. So what's going to happen with this is, we don't know the specifics right now, is that when you change account, there'll be a delay, like a 30-second delay. And then if you do it again, maybe there'll be a minute delay. If you do it again, maybe it'll be 2 minutes to stop this happening, or at least try and mitigate against it, in the same way that quite a few updates ago, if you change server, public servers, you would be transported somewhere else to stop loot farming. So yeah, very, very good. Very good for base raiding that. You know, it makes it a little bit more better for base raiders, not having to come up against an infinite number of defenders. Assign scope zoom to right on the D-pad on the new control scheme. Reworked falling damage, impact depending on height. Tweak sounds of doors with valve lock. Change the horn sound of the M3S truck. Increase the audibility of explosions. Allowed eye gear to spawn on the infected. Login timers are now also displaying in minutes and hours. Zoom functionality is no longer reduced during fast movement in crouch or prone. Applied minor visual tweaks to the Great Helm. Reduced the weight of the plastic explosives by 60%. Tweaked impact sounds for metallic objects depending on the targeted surface. Ripened horticultural plants now stay for twice as long before they start to decay. Excellent. Increase the minimum amount of quick slots available to the player. Good. Reduce the amount of additional quick slots given by certain gear. I guess, yeah, I mean, if you had like an assault vest on and a backpack and a like a military shirt, you used to have loads, didn't you? Excuse me. Interactions with the power generator now refresh the lifetime of it and all items connected to it. Logical. Remove the loading text on the login timer. Washing hands is now continuous action. Tweak the width of all tyre tracks. Change the animation for pill consumption. Improve the visuals of the PSO1, PSO11 and P187L scopes. Reduce the reflection on the glass of scopes. Excellent. Some of them were difficult to see through, weren't they? The improvised fishing rod can now be dismantled. Adjusted the position and rotation of individual weapons when carried on the shoulder. Yeah, they clip in a little bit odd sometimes, don't they? So that'll be good to see. Distant lights are much dimmer, better for stealth when you're having like when you're cooking inside a building at night, I guess, or having a bonfire in the woods somewhere. Transition from close-up light to distant is much smoother. Increase the damage the Sarka 120 takes from impacts. The drying rate of items has been adjusted to correctly reflect item location and outside influences. So I guess when you're outside and it's a sunny day and it's windy, things will dry quicker than if you're outside and it's cold and dark. Increase the duration of the ringing action. Adjusted inventory lighting to make the item previews more readable, less overexposed and more in the style of the UI. Flatter lighting. Churner has updated the Chernigorsk football field. On Livonia, they've added flags of the winners of the Light Out event. Fixed, they've shifted the police station at Bielawa. Now, here we go. Server. Added server config parameter. Disable multi-account mitigation. To disable login timer increases upon account or device switch on the server. So that's that thing we were talking about earlier. So you'll be able to disable that as well. And we'll have to have a look at the documentation to see how it works, whether you can change the timers. So again, I guess if you wanted to, you could have it so people who had multiple accounts could get back on the server very, very quickly, or make it longer. Added Xbox whitelist now supports hashed ID and not just gamertag. Oh, that's good. I guess that's better for security. Added object spawner supports direct P3D spawning. Excellent. So many thanks to Lemons, who told me about this, who explained what P3D is. So really, one of the things that was always missing was the ability to easily add moss and trees and bushes and things like that, because especially to make the areas look overgrown and old. So looking at that, added server config into parameter network object backsend, which is how many objects within a player's network bubble are sent to be created within a server frame. Not sure what that means. Added server config int parameter, which is now how many objects within a player, blah, blah, blah. Added optional logging for raising and lowering of flags at flagpoles. Added the object spawner. Enabled set persistency, which when set to true will make an object behave as configured by economy. Otherwise, it will not be saved in the server storage until a player puts it in inventory. I'm not sure what that means. Fixed script execution. Fixed several consistency in the main admin logs. Fixed. It was not possible to spawn infected with the functional head torch attaches. Excellent. We can have zombies running around with head torches, which is very, very cool at night. Fix item spawn before seeing it were not persistent. Change shortcut for map toggling is not available if use 3 map option is enabled. What have you seen? I'm lost for words there. I was mumbling. We'll have to see whether they've added a map shortcut for community servers on controller so that you can access the map without actually having the map or the GPS or the compass like you can on PC. On PC, you just press it. If it's set up on the server that you're allowed to do it, you press M and the map pops up with your location, even if you haven't got it, which is really cool for beginners. And you can't do that on console unless you've got a keyboard plugged in. Known issues. The ability to pick up bolts after impact is currently inconsistent. Some explosions sound unnatural. Servers in the game launcher are blank. Adjusting the window size of the launcher resolve this. Arrows are incorrectly attached. Blah, 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 blah. So there we go. What do you think? Watch for my other video soon. And hopefully you find this useful.